Hi everyone, this is Professor E. In the previous lecture, we learned how to create a database from scratch. We learned how to create a table, how to create fields and attributes, and the data type associated with them. And then we populated our table with data. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to learn how to create queries. What is query? Query is basically a question that you need to answer. So most of the time, we don't need the entire database. We just need a section of the database. We are looking for specific information. And the queries allow us to search for specific information. So for example, using the employee table and we called it inventory database. So there's no confusion between the database and the table. So we called it different name. Now, as you can see here, after populating the data, we're gonna create some queries, as you can see right here. So we're gonna answer all these questions, okay? So now I'm gonna switch to Access. As you can see, to save time, I already populated my table with information. So I have employees here with their information. So now I'm going to start answering the questions. What is the first question? The first question, I want to look or display the list of employees only from Texas. Because in my database, I have employees from different states, from Washington, from Georgia, from Colorado, from New York, and so on. So let's say I want to know, or I want to display only the employees, the list of employees from Texas. How do you do that? So first, when you click Create, and then there are two types of query, query design, query wizard. Wizard is much easier. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to click query wizard, and then it's asking me simple. So we're going to choose the simple query wizard. So I'm just going to accept the default option. Click OK. And then here it says which table. Of course, we have only one, but in normal databases, we have more than one table. So we have to specify which table you're going to get the information from. So since we have only one table in our example, so it's already selected for us. Now, in your query, do you want to use all the fields or some of them? So let's say I'm just going to pick some of them. Maybe I want to show the first name. I don't want to show the employee ID. First name, last name, the state, definitely, because we are looking for employees from the state. So state is required. And then maybe I want to show the hours they work, let's say like if they're part-time or full-time, and then the pay rate. I mean, you can add more, it's up to you, but I'm gonna have only this 5, okay? So it's totally up to you. There are some of them that I've required. You need to show the first and the last name. And then here in this query, because we are trying to display the employees from Texas, you have to have the state in your selection. And then I'm gonna click next. And then here it says the detail. Would you like a detailed summary query? I'm going to say next, yes. And then here you want to show or modify. I'm going to click modify. Why? Because I still did not pick the people from Texas. So I'm going to modify because I'm going to make some changes. So I'm going to click finish. Now that's going to take me to this page. As you can see right here, I have the employee table with all the information. Now, since I'm looking for employees only from Texas, which means I need to go and then specify the criteria. And the criteria, as you can see here in this row, I need to go all the way to states. That's right here. And then when it says criteria, the intersection here, I'm going to put Texas. So I'm going to put don't put Texas here because I don't have the whole name. I have the abbreviation. So here, that means I want only people from Texas. And then to run the query or to run the search, there are different ways. Easy way is just click on run. And you see like an exclamation mark. Or you can change the view, either way. So I'm going to choose this one, click on run. And then it's going to show me, as you can see, all the employees from Texas on. And then you can save it. So next time you don't have to do it again. It's already saved for you. So I'm going to save it. Okay. And then if I want to create a new one, I'm going to have to do it again. Create query wizards, and then follow the same steps. Make sure here you are getting the information from the table. So what's the next query first? I didn't even look. It says display the list of full-time employees. That means people who work either 40 or above. So I'm going to switch, and then I don't need the employee ID. You can add it if you want to. Or you can add everything and then exclude whatever you do. So you can do it the other way. So I don't want this health insurance, not at this time. And then I'm going to keep everything in there. Okay, so click next, and then this is the name, what title you want to give to your query. So I'm going to call it full-time. Give it like a meaningful name, full-time employees. Okay, then again, I'm going to modify and then finish. So now this is going to give me, if I run this, it's going to give me all of them. Why? Because I did not put any criteria, any condition. So since we're talking about full-time employees, which field do you think is going to be affected? Is it the state, first name, last name, hours, or pay rate? So full-time means they work 40 hours, which means hours will be affected. So I'm right here, I'm going to put higher or equal than 40. Any number higher or equal than 40, that's definitely full-time. And then run the query, just like what we did earlier. Click run, see that all of them are either 40 or above. So these are full-time. And then again, are already saved. If they are not saved, you can just click saved if the program will prompt you if it's not saved. Okay, and then we continue. What's the next one? So it says display the list of employees with health insurance. Only the people who have health insurance. So I'm going to do the same thing. So create query wizard, click OK, and then again specify the source, which is the employee. Sometimes you may have all the information in the query, so it's not always from the table, but the table basically it has all of them. So I'm gonna move all of them to selected fields, and then I'm going to exclude employee ID. Now here in this time, I need health insurance. So I'm gonna keep everything here. And then click next, and then click next, and then modify, and then finish. So again, I need to put the condition here. What is the condition? So health insurance, make sure it is in the row called criteria. And then I'm going to put yes. That means they have health insurance. Then run it. See that? All of them have health insurance. So if an employee does not have, it is not going to be shown here. Okay, so it is saved. So I'm going to save it. Oh, I forgot to change the name. If I forgot to change the name, I can always do that. So I have full-time. Let me see which one is this. This is health insurance. So I can change the name by Renee. And then I'm going to put okay. I need to close this before I can change it. I'm going to right-click rename, and then I'm going to call it employees with health insurance. Okay. Now the first one, which is this one, this is from Texas. So I'm going to change the name, but to save it, you have to close. So and then right click, and then rename it. So I'm going to call it Texas TX Employees. Try to make sure it is meaningful, but you can name it in any way you want. So I'm done with this tree. Now let's move on to the next one. So it says display the list of employees hired before 2004, anything before. Okay, so I'm gonna go and then start the process again, and then click create, and then query wizard, click OK, specify the source, which is the table employee, and move everything except employee ID. And you can keep all of them if you want to. And then data, I'm going to keep everything. So click next, next, modify, and then finish. Now, what's the criteria? So which field will be affected since we're talking about dates hired? So you're going to go to dates hired, make sure it's in the criteria row. And then I'm going to put less than 1/1/2004. That means less, any date before that. And then run it. See that? So all of them are before 2004. There's nothing after. And then you can save it again. Again, I forgot to save it during the process, so I'm going to have to close and then save it from here. Right click and then go to rename. So I'm going to call it here employees hired before 2004. Okay, done. Next one. So it's displayed list of full-time employees that have health insurance. So as you can see, there are two conditions, not only one. Both conditions have to be met. So we're going to use both of them. So I'm going to create query wizard, the same steps, and then the table, then move everything except employee ID. But you can keep it the employee ID if you want to. And then click next, modify, and then finish. Now we have two conditions. Full-time means higher than 40. So I'm going to go right here, higher than 40. Then in the same row, make sure you are still in the criteria row. And then it says higher and then have health insurance. So I'm going to go right here and then put yes. Okay. So these two conditions, they have to be met. So there is end. And then I'm going to run the program. As you can see, they have health insurance. Only 3 employees meet this criteria, these two conditions. So they are full-time, as you can see, the hours is higher than 40. And at the same time, they have health insurance. Okay. Again, I forgot to save it. So I'm going to have to close it and then save. So rename it. And I'm going to call it employees full-time employees with health insurance. Okay, so what's the next one? Here we have display the list of employees from Georgia or New York, either one of these two. So again, I'm going to start a new one. Query wizard, click OK, and then choose from the employee. So move everything except employee ID. Click next. And click next. Now here, I'm not gonna forget, I'm gonna name it. So Georgia or New York employees. And then modify. Now, how do we put either this? Can you see like there is a row called or? That means I'm gonna put one condition in the criteria row and the other one in the or row. So we have Georgia, both of them are from states. So I'm gonna go right here. So it doesn't really matter which one is first on New York, but make sure the other one you put below, which is JGA. Now you run, see either Georgia or New York. And it's already saved, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, it said we have, yes, display the list of employees whose last name starts with the letter M. So for whatever reason, let's say you forgot the name of an employee, but you know definitely that it starts with M, but you have no idea what the rest is. So the computer, Microsoft Access can help you with that. So let's switch to Access and then start a query wizard. Since it's save, I save it. And then I'm going to create a new query from the employee, move everything. I'm going to keep employee ID for this time. Click next, so people don't think that I have to exclude it. So click next, and then I'm going to put here. So what's the query? The query, I forgot about the query. So the query, I'll start with M. So I'm going to put here employees with last name starting with M, for example, and then modify and click finish. So how do we do that? So of course, we're going to go to the last name, which is right here, and then make sure it's in the criteria row. And then I'm going to put what? Star. Star means start with anything. I'm sorry, start with M. And it does not really matter what comes after. So you put star. That means M. It does not really matter what comes after. So this will show only the last name that starts with M. So you can see Miller, Mattis, Morrison, Moreno. All of them start with M. So as long as it starts with M, it doesn't really matter. So star means it's a wild card. That means it doesn't really matter what comes, any letters, any bunch of letters that comes, as long as it starts with M. Okay, so that's, and then save it. And then let's see if there is any, okay, we have the last one, display the list of employees who get paid $50 or more. That's the last one. So we're gonna follow the same process, create query wizard, click OK, from employee table, move everything, click next, give it a name, which is employees getting paid 50 or more. You can put $50 or more. So I'm going to modify, and then I'm going to go to the pay rates and just make sure it says higher than 50. Done. Now, if I click run, so as you can see, it shows the pay rates as there is nothing less than 50, 75, 60, 56. Okay, so this is how you make queries. It's very simple, straightforward process, especially if you use the query wizard. I hope you find this video useful. If you have any questions, please make sure to let me know. Thank you.